Good morning, students. Today we are on the second part of the third chapter of class 10th history. The name of the chapter is the first phase of the Indian national movement. In the first video of this chapter, we have discussed about who are the early nationalist leaders, what were the demands of the early nationalist leaders, what were the objectives and methods followed by the early nationalist leaders. In the second part of this video, in the second part of this chapter, we are going to study about the contributions of three prominent early nationalist leaders. The three prominent early nationalist leaders are Dadabhai Naoroji, Gopal Krishna Gokhale and Surendranath Banerjee. In the first video, we have studied that there are so many early nationalist leaders like Dadabhai Naoroji, W.C. Banerjee, Surendranath Banerjee, Gopal Krishna Gokhale, Madan Mohan Malviya, Firoz Shah Mehta and so on. But in the syllabus, only three early nationalist leaders' contributions are given, and the contributions of these early nationalist leaders are explained in the second part of this video, that is a PowerPoint presentation. In the PowerPoint presentation, when we are discussing or studying about the personality sketch, we have to remember two types of information. First, the basic information about the personality, thereafter the contributions of that personality. The PowerPoint is prepared in such a way. The first slide is dealing with the details of that personality, thereafter the contributions. Under the heading contributions, 5 to 6 points are given. You have to by heart 3 to 4 points, because in every board examination, either the contribution of any one of the early nationalist leader or any one of the assertive nationalist leader will be asked. Now we can move to the next part of the video. The first early nationalist leader, Dadabhai Naoroji. In the smaller classes, you have studied about Dadabhai Naoroji as a freedom fighter and a social reformer. When we are studying about a personality, you have to remember two things. The first one, a brief sketch about the life of the person, and the second one, as per the syllabus, the contributions of that leader. Now let us see the life sketch of Dadabhai Naoroji. Dadabhai Naoroji is known as the Grand Old Man of India. He was born in Mumbai in the year 1825. The two important Indian states which produced the maximum number of freedom fighters were Maharashtra and Bengal. Dadabhai Naoroji belonged to Maharashtra. After completing his education, he started his career as a professor of mathematics in Elphinstone College in Mumbai. When we studied about the first part of this chapter, we studied that most of the early nationalist leaders belonged to the upper class and middle class. They were highly educated. Most of them were professional. Many of them were professors. Many of them were advocates, and many others were teachers and engineers. Then let us see about the contributions of Dadabhai Naoroji in the Indian freedom struggle. The first point, he acted as the unofficial ambassador of India. In the exercise, there is a question, how can we call him as the unofficial ambassador of India? We studied that one of the major method used by the early nationalists was to present the problems of India before the British government and British public. With this intention, Dadabhai Naoroji visited England several times. He stayed in England for many years and trying to present the problems of India before the British Parliament. That is why he is known as the unofficial ambassador of India. The second point, he was a journalist. He edited a newspaper known as Rast Goftar, that means seeker of truth. The third one, he started a magazine named Dharma Margadarshak. Then in the year 1865, he founded London India Society with the intention to collect public opinion and present it before the British government. The next point, he was the first Indian who became a member of the British Parliament. Like the Indian Parliament, the British Parliament also has two houses, an upper house and a lower house. The two houses of the British Parliament are the House of Commons and House of Lords. The first Indian who became the House of Commons of the British Parliament was Dadabhai Naoroji. Being a member of the British Parliament, he tried to present the problems of India before the British government. He was an active member of Indian National Congress. He became the president of Indian National Congress thrice. Then, last point you have to remember, he was a prolific writer and wrote the book Poverty and Un-British Rule in India. In this book, he explained the drain theory. He explained how India's wealth is drained by the British through various means. The second early nationalist leader is Gopal Krishna Gokhale. Gopal Krishna Gokhale, like Dadabhai Naoroji, he was also born in Maharashtra. He was known as the political mentor, the guru of Mahatma Gandhi. The principles of Gopal Krishna Gokhale greatly influenced Mahatma Gandhi. He was born in Maharashtra in the year 1866. Like Dadabhai Naoroji, after completing his education, he started his career as a professor of history and economics in Ferguson College in Pune. The next topic, Gopal Krishna Gokhale's contributions. The first contribution, he founded the Servants of India Society in the year 1905. The main intention of this society, this organization, is to train the nationalist leaders. The second contribution you have to remember, he presided over the Varanasi session of Congress. He was also an active member of Indian National Congress and he became the president of Congress once. He became a member of Indian Public Service Commission. Then he was instrumental in passing the Minto-Morley reforms in the year 1905. The last point you have to remember, in the year 1902, he became a member of Imperial Legislative Council. Being a member of the Imperial Legislative Council, he tried to influence the British government for passing laws in favor of India. The last and third early nationalist leader included in the syllabus is Surendranath Banerjee. Surendranath Banerjee belonged to Bengal. He is known as the father of Indian nationalism. He was born in Bengal in the year 1848. He was the first Indian who qualified the ICE, Indian Civil Service Examination. Surendranath Banerjee started his career as a professor of English in the Metropolitan College. Now, the last part of this chapter, the contributions of Surendranath Banerjee. He is known as the father of Indian nationalism. The first and most important contribution of Surendranath Banerjee, he is known as father of Indian nationalism. Then, in the year 1876, he founded the Indian Association, one of the forerunners of Indian National Congress. He was a journalist. He edited a newspaper named Bengali. Then, being an active member of the Indian National Congress, he presided over the sessions of Congress twice. In the year 1883, he founded Indian National Conference. This Indian National Conference later merged with the Indian National Congress. He was a prolific writer who edited so many books and wrote an important book named A Nation in the Making. Then his career, he started agitation against many of the repressive policies of the British, like the Arms Act, License Act, Vernacular Press Act, etc. For the first semester examination, we have to cover 4 chapters from history and 1 chapter from civics. After the next chapter, the 4th chapter, we will discuss the short questions of all the chapters. Thereafter, we will move towards the civics portion. The first chapter of civics will be completed before the first semester examination. Thank you.